wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors for this heart of mine. Here we go now. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, about lending hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors, let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors for this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I learned to keep it inside. Now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, about lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors, let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors for this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors for this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors for this heart of mine.
Good morning. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Little Rock. I'm excited to see everyone here this morning. And I know if you're new to Unity of Little Rock, you're going to learn that Unitex have a different conception of time, so people will be rolling in late, but we're okay with that. We're open and we're free. We give people the choice to do what they need to do. I imagine, like many of you, I'm feeling a little sad this morning. I was feeling sad yesterday after news of what happened in El Paso, and then to wake up this morning and hear that overnight another mass shooting has taken place in Dayton, Ohio. And where's he going to end? And I was driving in this morning to the service, and I was thinking of A Course in Miracles. And I don't know how many of you have studied A Course in Miracles, but one of the lessons of A Course in Miracles says that only love is real. I thought, how do we work that in our minds and in our hearts? If only love is real, how do we correlate that with all these unloving actions that we see taking place around us? And I don't know what the answer for that is. And I'm really excited that we have our speaker this morning, because I also thought, well, what a perfect opportunity to have our guest speaker here today, because I'm hopeful that he's going to bring us some words of inspiration and hope that's going to maybe bring comfort to my heart and hopefully to yours as well. And before I really get into the start of the service, let's just take a brief moment of silence to remember all of those who've been killed in the shooting and all the families, and just 5 seconds of silence, if you would. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm again excited to be here this morning with you. I'm Travis Wiley. I am a board member of Unity Church here at Little Rock, and I'm also one of the prayer chaplains today, or at the church. Even though I'm not serving as prayer chaplain today, that would be Jeannie McGee. We're excited. We've got two guests actually with us. We have our guest speaker, Reverend Robert McMillan, is going to be here, and we also have a guest musician, Al Lockett, is going to be performing for us as well. So we're excited about that. I want to just remind everybody, if you're new here for the first time, we do have welcome packets. So if you'll see Linda toward the back there, she can give you a welcome packet. We have an email newsletter, and we have a Facebook page. So if you're interested, give us your email address, like us on Facebook, and follow us, and keep up with what's going on here at Unity of Little Rock. I like to call us the little church that could. And we're the little church that could, and we are make a stand. Those of us here who are for Unity, we make a stand to be a center of new thought and new belief to help spread love and peace across the world. Now, this morning our flow of service is going to be a little different. So because once I step down, then the service is going to take a life of its own, I guess, and Jeannie. So I want to just kind of do a brief introduction of our speaker today. I have heard this man speak for many times, Reverend Robert McMillan. I think the first time was probably over 20 years ago at least, and it might have been longer than that, when the Quimbys were ministers here, and I know Robert used to come and fill in for them sometimes whenever they were gone and away, and I've even got notes from lectures that you gave up here on this platform back many, many years ago where I've saved those notes. And so, he's got some wonderful things to share. And, I was looking at this introduction, this wonderful introduction, and I'm not going to read all of it, but I do want to just share a little bit with you that, Robert McMillan, he's a published author. If you didn't know that, he's a photojournalist, he's a portraitist, and he's a writer of poems. Maybe he'll share some poetry with us sometimes, and I would like to hear that. He said he loves the spoken and the written word. He's the host of a blog talk radio program. It's called it's blogtalkradio.com, and it's called The Know Show, K-N-O-W, The Know Show. It's on Wednesdays from 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, I'm going to have to check that out. I'm going to be honest, I didn't realize that. And when I read that, I think we have a mutual friend in Jeff Long, and I think Jeff has mentioned that he's listened to your radio program before. So, Reverend McMillan leads discussions on new thought music, ministries, methodologies for overcoming and dealing with life's challenges. He's an eclectic minister with an eclectic and an inclusive message. It says Reverend Robert J.V. McMillan is a perpetual truth student who is excited about the ultimate destination while tremendously enjoying the journey. So we're looking forward to hearing that. And today our guest musician is going to be Al Lockett. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of information about Al, so maybe once Robert gets up here, he can fill us in on that. But I heard him warming up here, and I'm really looking forward to hearing his music as well. All right, at this time, we're going to do our meet and greet, and this is take a couple of minutes. Everybody stand up, take time to shake each other's hands. If you're a hugger, give each other a hug, and then we'll continue with the service. So, yeah.
guess I can control some of it here.
Wow. That was so beautiful. That really sets the tone, doesn't it? So, in unity, thank you, Travis. We remember that the Christ light is lit within us. We radiate that Christ presence out into the world. And then there is the prayer box. And I myself have put some prayers in this week, and we know that we will be sending them off to Silent Unity, and they'll be prayed over in Silent Unity for 30 days. And our daily word today is service. Oh, I look for opportunities to serve. And you know, service could just be our being the best Christ self that we can be in this world that seems divided today. And we want to affirm our statement of being. So let's say together, I am an individualized expression of God. I'm ever one with His perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. As Travis said, I'm Jeannie McGee. I am the prayer chaplain today. And I will be hanging around after service should you need someone with prayer. Now, you know, one of the challenges I have as a prayer chaplain is that often people request a prayer expecting those traditional words. You know, they want that intervention from a God outside of us, an invisible parent, or maybe a superhuman bodyguard. You know, right now, wouldn't it be great if we could say, Lord, fix this gun problem we have in the United States. Fix it. We pray for that. But in unity, we see the divine as not just an omnipresent being, it is omnipresence itself. Omnipresence, omniscience, and omnipotence. And that divinity dwells in us, and we dwell in it. So as Eric Butterworth describes, this means that prayer is not a means of arousing God to action. No, it's a means of empowering us to action. It's a process of waking up and remembering. We pray from that consciousness of God. And so in unity, we do affirmative prayer, and we pray asserting our divine identity so we may express that divinity. We pray that we can embody that nature. That's what we're asking for. So today I'm going to use the invocation that Travis often uses, you know, the words of Charles Fillmore and Paul Hasselbeck. And these words call me to remember and celebrate my divine nature. And y'all, this happened to me yesterday. I was saying the Gayatri mantra. I know that's kind of unusual, but I was thinking about how that made me feel, because I love the way that the sounds, those sacred sounds, quicken the divine life force in me. And it brings up my energy up from my life force, up through my crown, and then it just settles back down, and I remember. So I'm going to be using that today, so just sort of wanted to warn you ahead of time. So, yeah, when you hear, it's not English, So right now, we're going to go into our affirmative prayer. So let us take that relaxing breath. Let the morning go. Oh, let the news go for a minute. Breathe and settle into the peace in your heart. I am the presence of pure beingness, emanating the activity of divine life, love, and wisdom. I am all that God is. We bring our community to this prayer. We bring our divided nation. And we see that there is hate that comes out of all the divisive speech and rhetoric. but we know that can't sustain itself. We give that not the ultimate power. We bring a world that is desperately seeking peace and harmony and environmental well-being. Take a moment. What do you bring to this prayer this day? We remember all things that we bring to prayer are a call to life, not a call to trouble or anxiety or death. Challenge, events, illness, they're a call to life, to life. They're a call to life now. Live now. Truly live in the divine each minute and second. All the corrections you see that you want to make out there are just mere reflections of the true change you want to make inside. Each time you perceive something you wish to change, let that be a reminder that you really want to connect to the divine and change your mind, your speech, your actions reflect the divine. Remember, I am the presence of pure beingness, emanating the activity of divine life, love, and wisdom. I am all that God is. I use divine wisdom and elimination to now renounce my mortal limitations and beliefs, utilizing divine substance and pure love. I bring into manifestation my world according to the law of divine order. Vaha, Svaha, Maha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam, Om Tatsavitu Varenyam, Margo Devasye Dimai, Diyo Yonaha, Prachodayat, Om Mapaha Jyoti Rasaha, Amritam Brahma, Bhur-bhuvah Suvarom. We give thanks for the divine light, which represents that one, the supreme divine, the substance of earth and space and heaven. We are grateful for the radiant splendor which illumines existence. By inner divine wisdom, may our souls be guided to perceive the brilliance of enlightenment. Om, the water, the light, the very essence in which we exist, the absolute, the physical world, the astral realm, the mental realm, all are Om. And so it is.
A sweet holy presence is casting a spell over me. A radiant love, oh so pure, I am nothing but free. The universe promises nothing at all, yet there's love at its essence. Should you hear its call, hear its call, hear it call. Love is all. Love is all. Long ago, before our time, before any time at all, There was a seed, there was a plan, there was what was, there was what is. A sweet holy presence is casting a spell over me. I am nothing but free. I am nothing but free.
That was a pretty awesome song, wasn't it? Absolutely phenomenal. You guys whack yet? Everybody went somewhere, didn't you? Come on back. We're here. It's good to be back with you. They always tell us to share with you who it is that we are, our names. And if we have forgotten that, the rest of it is downhill all the way. So I do remember that my name is Robert J.V. McMillan, and I have been coming here for over 25, 30, whatever years. I'm 28 or 29 years old. And it's always a pleasure to come before you and be here with you in all of the phenomenal ways and to see the growth and the expansion in each and every person that I meet along the way. And there are people here that I've been knowing for 25 plus years. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that neat? My grandchildren and my son are here, and I want to thank them for being here with us. And I appreciate that because, they have other things that they could have been doing, right? But they intentionally chose without my having to promise them any kind of reward. They didn't know about that part. So I'm grateful. My friends are here, of course, Al and Chris. And Al, thank you so much for that beautiful piece that you played and that you're going to play. Again, we appreciate that. It's all about the collective consciousness of all of us having been brought to a space and a place where we need to be and doing that which we need to do. In case you didn't know it, you are exactly where you need to be right now for the reasons that Spirit has brought you here. You may not understand it, but Spirit knows it. And we have to let go and let God. And as Jeannie was saying, we have to then allow Spirit to work within us, outside of us, but we have to be awake. Did you get that part? We have to be awake, because if we're not awake, it'll go right over your head. You'll miss it. You'll miss it. How many people here are willing to admit and acknowledge that they have missed a few things in life? I put both hands up. Both hands up. Okay, I've missed a whole bunch of things. I do. I have. And I probably will miss something in the future because we're so caught up in so many different things in life and we're doing so much. So the question that is above my head, my bald spot, if it's flattering you or something, just let me know and I'll see if I can't tone it down. But it says, what and why am I here? And what is it that is mine to do? What is it that is yours to do? What is it that Spirit has placed you here and only you can do it because only Spirit gave it to you? Now, don't get the big head about it. If you don't do it, Spirit will find somebody else. Are you aware of that? I have seen that happen as well in my own life, because I hesitated, not intentionally. I don't think that we would ever not do something that we know Spirit wants for us to do intentionally. Right? But we do it without recognizing the Spirit is speaking to us. Have you ever felt that something was for somebody else and not for me, and then found out all of the time it was actually just for who? Me. All three of us, me, myself, and I. So, as we go to the next slide, first one says, why am I here? We want to reflect back on some things that have happened. Travis mentioned that I've been here for a number of years and have been blessed by all of you in wonder-filled and wonderful ways. Have watched children grow, and my children grow and expand exponentially. And that in and of itself is a blessing. And one of the reasons that's a blessing is because I came to this phase of life the hard way. I came the hard way. Anybody here beside me come the hard way? Yeah, I understand. That's right. Put both hands up. Me too. Because see, there was a funeral service a while back, and there were 3 coffins in that church. And one was my wife, who was 30 years old. The second one was my daughter, who was 10, and the third one was my son, who was 6. They had died in a house fire. And so I then was looking for a space and a place of consolation. I was looking for a place and a space that could give me answers, could help to let me know why it was that a God would do something like that to me and take people away from me that I loved. And so I came to Unity. I came to Science of Mind. I came to Yogananda, Paramahansa Yogananda's place and space. I came to all of those places and spaces, and I was so pleased that I did. Because as I came, then I found answers. And you see, once we find answers, then we know that we are where we need to be. Anybody understand that beside me? You get it. You understand that you are right where it is that you need to be. And that Spirit is blessing you all the time. And regardless of whatever it is that is going on, you are where you need to be. You are right where you need to be. We all are right where it is. If you were wondering where you're supposed to be this moment and thinking about being on the golf course or thinking about being in the swimming pool or thinking about being wherever else, forget it. Spirit has an answer for you to the problem and to the challenges that you have expressed that are yours. Why? Because there are no accidents in life. Only spiritual opportunities. Doing what? Awaiting our awareness to then show up and show out in our lives. There are people here that can relate to what I'm talking about because it has happened to us. Whatever the need, Spirit, universal, impersonal principle, God doesn't care what you call it. Just call upon it. Just know that whenever it is that you call, there will be an answer. So there are no accidents, only spiritual opportunities awaiting our awareness to show up and show out in our lives and in the lives of those that are within our circles of influence. And that includes all of our little people, even this beautiful little person with all that hair on her head. And I'm so glad that you got here. It's good to see you, Mama, because I was hoping that you'd be there. That's all right. She always ignores me when I'm talking to her for the first few minutes. And then, of course, she'll say, no, wait a minute. You are not ignoring me now, are you? You will not ignore me. I am going to do something. I'm going to come over there. I'm going to pat you on your bald spot or something. I'm going to do something. But you know what? God does that as well. Let's go to the next slide, please. Spirit, universal impersonal principle, does that just the same. Therefore, I remind you to stir up the gift of God which is within you. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. Interesting words, but so very true. But you have to have lived some of life in order to then know that they are true and that they apply not only to one individual or two individuals, but they apply to all of us. All of us. Anybody getting this beside me? Is this making sense to anybody? It does. That's what I love about this faith walk. The fact that we can know whatever it is that we need to know when we need to know it. But what you have to do is let go of that part that says, I want to know and I want to know everything when? Right now, right? I want to know it, but I want to know it all right now. Spirit is not ready for you to know it. There's a reason that you don't know it because you are not ready for it. You would not know what to do with it if you knew the answer. So you have to see there's serendipity, synchronicity, and spirituality. I did a talk on that a while back here in this area. Let's go to the next slide, please. And in terms of that, knowing that wherever it is that you are, in fact, you can do what? You can handle the truth. You can handle the truth. Not only can you handle the truth, you must handle the truth, because you will keep having the same challenges that reoccur over and over and over and over again until you deal with it. Now, you can do that this lifetime. You can do it the next lifetime. You can do it the one after that. It's up to you, and it's up to me, and it's okay. Nobody's going to get angry at you. You just have to keep coming back. And then you'll do what? You'll start wondering, and you'll start saying to yourself, why does this always keep happening to me? Because you haven't gotten it. You haven't, that's right. You haven't gotten it yet. But once you get it, then you're real clear. So let's go to the next slide. We don't think we can, but we can. So how do we do that then, Robert Mack? Well, we do that by letting go and letting God. I-L-G-H-I, wrote a little thing, and it says, I-L-G-H-I, let God handle it as I pray and move my feet in the direction that Spirit is moving me, is guiding me, honoring me, knowing that if it is to be, then it is up to me, but through the wonder-working power the God force that is within me to make it so. Did you get that? Did you get that? How do you think it was that I came about remembering that? Because my head was so hard that I had to keep getting lesson after lesson after lesson in order to move forward. Let's go to the next slide, because the past does not equal the future, right? That's the important part of that, though. The past, your past, whatever it is that you have been through, you need not go through that same thing again. But you know what? Until you change, until you do something differently, nothing is going to be what? Different for you. Now, don't feel badly about the fact that your neighbor across the street, your sister down the road, your brother in the back, all of them are having these wonderful opportunities to live life, and you go, what about me? You know, singing in the key of high C, it's all about me, 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 right? Now, I know that's not true of anybody here. I called before I came, and I heard, no, that is not true of anyone here. I understand. You guys just happen to show up at the right time to hear this message, okay? Your past, now let's go back, if you will, please. Your past need not interfere with your present or your future. The only moment that really matters is what? Now. Yesterday is gone and tomorrow has not yet come. The only moment of concern and importance is when? Now. This one. Now we can go on. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And so someone wisely said, and at the time I could not remember who it was, so I put unknown. Isn't that what you do when you don't know who said it, but you know you didn't? You say, unknown, right? That covers everything. You are forgiven, right? Because you're not saying that you said it, you're acknowledging that you didn't, but you don't know who said it, right? That's called old age at times. Somebody has said that. And now that I have gotten past 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, I'm going to stop right there. I didn't say I had stopped, but I'm going to stop talking about it right there, okay? Of course, my son will always remind me of how old I am. Dad, you know you're old. You are so old. And I say, but every year that I get older, you realize you are older. Yeah, you have to shut them up. It is not that anything under the sun is new. It is just that the old is forgotten so quickly. And I couldn't remember who said that, so I put unknown. Doesn't that make sense? I didn't say it, and I don't remember who did, but I know that someone did. It is not that anything under the sun, ladies and gentlemen, is new, but the old is forgotten so quickly. And when we see the things in life that are going on, and when we listen to the little people that are with us, and when I listen to my grandchildren, and when I listen to my son and my daughters, I know that to be true, that there is nothing under the sun that is new. Next slide, please. Spiritual Diary is one of my favorite books by Paramahansa Yogananda. I study under Paramahansa Yogananda and others as well. That's the wonderful thing about New Thought metaphysics. You're not limited. You can just keep going and keep going and keep going to the extent of your ability to respond to all of that. And I say respond because if something is not happening progressively and powerfully for you, let it go. Let it go and absorb, get into something else. Next slide, please. So, there are no accidents, only spiritual opportunities awaiting our awareness to show up and show out in our lives. How about that? What is it that you want? Every Sunday when I finish doing something like this, we go somewhere and have a fabulous brunch, okay? And that's not just because we're hungry. That's because we are now deserving, having done something to support somebody else in a way that makes sense to everybody involved. Did you get that? I know I went through it quickly, but I want for you to understand the importance of knowing that you are important. You count. You matter. There is no one that can do what you can do like you can do it in the amount of time that you are allowed to do it, right? So somewhere it says, let us be about our Father's business in order to have, be, do, and know more. Next slide, please. That's about music. That's about love. That's about light. That's about goodness. And that's about grace. And that's about healing. The healing that comes from the knowledge that God is the source of my supply, and all of my needs are met instantaneously and abundantly in God's own miraculous, marvelous, and wonderful way. And once you know that, then you will know why it is that I am here and what it is that is mine to do. And then, ladies and gentlemen, it is up to you and me, individually and collectively, to be about our Father's business. Do you receive it? Do you receive it? And so it is. Thank you so much. God bless.
This is a song called Friends We Meet Along the Way. Kind of apropos. Apropos? Apropos.
Wonderful message for us this morning, and I didn't lie, did I? Did he deliver for us like they thought he would? Yeah. Thank you. And the music has just been wonderful. When we come now to that part of our service where everyone gets the opportunity to share from their abundance and their prosperity. You know, Unity Church of Little Rock we're fully self-supporting through the contributions that we take in right here. There's no Mother Unity ship that's sending money to us to help us pay our bills. So we appreciate the board and all of us here appreciate your donations and your contributions and your love offerings. So we will have our ushers come forward. And as they do, let's say together our offering blessing together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Amen.
Oh, that helps. You could probably hear that. Let's start again. I got so many people trying to tell me what to do that I stopped listening long ago. I know they all mean well, they're just trying to help, but they're really not helping me to grow. I know what I need has been inside me from the start. I just gotta find my way back to my heart. There are so many people out there doing their thing. I've been watching right along. They don't all do it well, but it's easy to tell they're just fine if they get it wrong. 'Cause they know what they're doing is following their star. They find their way, leading with their hearts. I'm gonna take every chance. I'm gonna dance my own dance. I'm gonna kick at the air. I'm gonna do it with flair. I'm gonna write my own song, bang my own gong. I'm gonna find my own way, starting today. Well, life is precious, passing by. It seems a shame to never try to let the inside out to play. It's time for me to find my way. It's time for me to find my way. I'm gonna take every chance. I'm gonna dance my own dance. I'm gonna kick at the air. I'm gonna do it with flair. I'm gonna write my own song, hang my own gong. Gonna find my own way. Starting today, I'm gonna write my own song. 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 Thank you.
And thank all of y'all for being here this morning. You know, I just thinking my mind, going over thoughts that you said, and I love there's nothing new under the sun. So happens this weekend, I was going through my storage unit. I have a storage unit at home, and had some stuff in there for several years, and I was over there straightening it up and cleaning it out, and I knew I had some boxes of books. Well, I found my treasure trove, all these boxes of books that I had put in there a few years ago when I moved, and I just never dug them back out. I brought them home, and I was kind of surprised because I've got all these books at home. And I thought, I've bought all of these books since I put all of these in storage, and I was digging the books out, and I came across my Science of Mind book that I'd studied 30 years ago, and I found my Course in Miracles book, and I found a book that someone gave to me in 1990 called The Precious Present. And you know, as I'm going through those books, and I stayed up till late last night, my living room's a mess. I got stacks of books all over the place, and I was flipping through them. And you know what, Robert? You're absolutely right. What I realized is, you know, I was reading what I needed to hear back in the 80s and 90s and probably the 70s. But you know what? I wasn't ready to hear it then. I wasn't ready to assimilate it, to take it in. And as I get older, you know, that's why it's important to go back and reread those things. And I often know in my own work, I tell people that, you know, it's not that we have to learn new things, because there really isn't new things to learn. We just have to hear the most important things again and again and again. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for reminding us and helping us to remember the things that are most important. And I think that's especially important today as we think about it and our hearts go out to all of those who've been affected by this loss and by these shootings. And you know, the biggest challenge for me in all of this is when I hear these episodes and these instances and these events, the biggest challenge is holding my heart open to those who commit such atrocities. How can I connect in compassion and the spiritual level with that young man who went in there and murdered those people? Because he has to live with that not only the rest of this life, I believe it affects his karma, it affects his destiny, and it's truly a tragic for him, for those who perpetrate such actions. That's where the real loss, in my mind, is so terrible. So let's hold our thoughts and our prayers for those folks. We have some announcements. I know we got our speakers coming up. Next week is going to be Chris Johnson. Many of us have heard Chris Johnson before. He always does a wonderful presentation and gives us some great information. Then on the 18th, we got Debray Tom, and I don't know a whole lot about that, so we'll be getting more information.
Yeah, just a friend of Paul Hasselbeck, and highly recommend.
Oh, well, then if Paul Hasselbeck has recommended him, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, on the 25th, will be Susan Julie Gonzalez will be back, and Real Regard will be here as a musician that day. Let's remember, on Tuesday night, we have our nonviolent communication class. And I encourage all of you to come out and join that. I tell you, Jeannie's been bringing us some great material on that nonviolent communication. And I got to say, you know, I've been really thinking about that in light of these two recent shootings.
Yeah.
You know, and the thought that comes to my mind is, you know, in nonviolent communication, we realize that people are just trying to get their needs met. And we all have a strategy for getting needs met. And I'm thinking, how desperate is someone that they're trying to get their needs met by picking up a weapon and going and shooting other people? That's pretty heady there. So come out and join us. If you're interested in exploring thought patterns like that, come out and join us for this nonviolent communication on Tuesday night. Also, the Oneness Blessing is on Tuesday night. And then 2 Saturdays a month, we're having a NIA class, and Jean McGee and Grayson Sloan are teaching that. Will it be this next Saturday, right? So the next Saturday will be the NIA class. NIA is a form of dance movement. It's for any age group, any physical conditioning. Come out and join in. It's a very it's a fun activity, and it's also it's exercise. It's a good little workout. So that'll be next Saturday at 10 o'clock, right, Jeannie? So, all right. Are there any other announcements, Linda? Yeah, Linda is our board president. Come on down, Linda. Do you need a microphone?
Hello. I would like to announce also on the 25th of August, we will be having a town hall meeting. And in this meeting, we want and value and ask with your highest purpose to give us your input, give us your suggestions, give us your vision of plans for the future, and show us your love and devotion for unity, because we will be reviewing some of our past, some of our present, and our hopes for the future. And I know we do only have now, so your input is important now more than ever. And we would appreciate your participation. And if you can, please be here. I know some of you don't come all the time, and some of you come some of the time, and some of you here every week. And just please try and be here that day, because it will be very important for us to work as a community, to work as a family, and to work into a oneness that we all can smile and hold in our hearts with love. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda. Yes, so that'll be on the 25th as well, so. All right, if there's no other announcements, I just love seeing this little girl here, and makes me think of Robert's got his son with him, and my daughter is here with me today, so she came to join us. If everybody will circle up on the outside of the sanctuary, we're going to form a circle, and we're going to have our prayer of protection, and we'll say our peace song. So we do a virtual circle. We might actually stretch and reach today, so. Here, everybody. Come on up here, Al. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna almost reach around, so. All right. Well, we can almost reach, so that's almost. All right. All right. Together, our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, that peace that was meant to be. With God as our Creator, and we all are we. Let us walk with each other. Perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Yay, God. Glad you're here. Yes, sir. What was your name?
James McMillan.
James. I think I've met